A perfect CV can be your key to graduate school admissions. In this video, I share with you the CV that got me into 5 PhD and 5 master's programs in order to help you craft your own winning CV for graduate school admissions. Before we get into the video, I do want to tell you that I am selling this exact CV template in my Shopify storefront, which you can find in the description down below. So I would suggest that you go buy that first and then follow this exact tutorial to help you craft the best CV you can for your graduate school applications. Alright, the first thing that you want to do is you obviously want to put your name at the top of the CV. I suggest that you use Times New Roman throughout the CV, and your name should be at least size 20 point font at the top. Right below your name, you want to include a couple of things. So you want to include your phone number, your mailing address, and then your email. Make sure the email is a professional email. So if you have your undergraduate email that you check consistently, I would put that on there. If you have a work email, I would put that as well, especially if your work experience relates to which program you are applying to. In this part of your CV, you can also include hyperlinks to your professional website that showcases more of your work or your LinkedIn account. But make sure that these hyperlinked websites or LinkedIn accounts are up to date, professional, and easy to read. If the admissions committee wants to learn more about you, they're gonna click the hyperlink so that they can learn more about your work that's not maybe present on this CV or your entire application. The first section of a CV is always your education. So you want to start with your most current educational experience. So if you got a master's, make sure that that's first and then your bachelor's. If you only have a bachelor's, make sure that that's at the top. When you describe your educational experiences, on the left hand side, you want to put the type of degree. So it's either going to be an M.A. or a BA. Or in my case, I got an Ed.M, which means a Master's of Education. So I'm gonna put ed.m. And then right next to that, you're gonna put the name of the degree. I got my Master's in Education Policy and Management. So I'm gonna put Education Policy and Management right next to the EDM. Right below that, you want to include the name of the institution. So I'm going to put Harvard Graduate School of Education. Then you're going to put a comma with the city. So for me, I'm going to put Cambridge, comma, state, Massachusetts, MA. And then you're going to put the year of completion or expected year of completion. So I completed this master's in 2016. So I'm going to put 2016. Right below that, you have the option of putting either your thesis, if you wrote a thesis in your undergrad or your master's experience. And if you didn't, that's fine. You can include things like honors, awards. You could even include the name of your advisor if they're well known. So for me, I'm gonna include the name of my advisor, Dr. Karen Mapp. And so you follow this exact template for all your educational experiences, including your study abroad or if you got certificates. And make sure they are in descending chronological order. The next sections of your CV are going to be dependent on what type of program you are applying to. If you are applying to a research-based program, such as a PhD or a research-based master's, then you want to include your research experiences at the top. If you are applying to a master's program or an EDD program that are more practical-based, then you want to start off your CV with your practical experiences. For this example, I'm going to be using a research-based CV. So the next section is going to be your research experience. So your header should state research experience and it should be all capitalized. On the left-hand side, in bold, you should have the name of the organization or the lab. On the far right, next to the name of the organization, you're going to include the city and state. And if you're out of the country, if you're international, you want to include the country where you completed this work. Right below below the name of the organization or lab, you want to name your supervisor. So who is your supervisor? What professor who was supervising your work? On the right hand side, right under the city and state and possibly country, you want to include the year that you completed this work. This could be the month and year, or just the year depending on how long you did this work. Right below that, you want to include 3 to 5 bullets that fully describe your research experience. The first bullet should always describe the work that you did. So you want to include the title of the project, you want to include your role in the project, and that should be the first bullet. It should provide context to the entire experience. After that, you should include bullets that describe your methodologies, your findings, the implications and impact of your work, if you wrote publications or if publications are currently under construction, if you presented at conferences, if you won awards. So that's everything you need to include in your research experience section. Because for this example, we are applying for a research-based degree, the next section should be your publications. And don't worry, if you do not have publications currently, let's say you're an undergrad, that is totally fine. But if you have conducted research, you want to make sure that this section is titled Publications in Progress, meaning that you're currently working on these publications. So what you want to do in this section is you want to structure your publications in the format that your field of study describes their publications or their work. So for example, in education, in my field, we use APA style format to cite our work. And so for me, I will be using APA style formatting to showcase my publications or work in progress. So make sure that your publications tie into the ways in which your field cites their work. So for my case, I'm gonna put the last name of the author, first initial of their name, in parentheses, the year was published or the year that we think it's going to be published, followed by a period, and then the title of the publication, followed by an italicized name of the journal. If you are a co-author or there's multiple authors on the publication, you want to name all of the authors and then the same format follows, but you want to bold your name, that way it stands out. The next section is conference presentations. So in bullets, you're going to describe all of your conference presentations, and you're going to start that off with the full name of the conference, followed by the type of presentation in bold. So if you are doing a poster presentation, make sure you put poster presentation. If you conducted a roundtable presentation, you're going to put roundtable presentation. If you got accepted for a paper presentation, you're going to put paper presentation in bold. You're going to follow that with the date that you completed the presentation, and in italicized, you're going to put the title of the presentation / paper. You're going to do this for all your experiences in the conference presentations portion. If you have teaching experience, your next section will be teaching experience. This could be experience that you had in the K through 12 level, higher education. Maybe you were a TA as an undergrad. If you are applying for PhD programs, teaching experience could give you a second look at your application or can give you an advantage, because as a PhD student, you're going to be expected to TA and possibly teach a course. So you want to showcase that you have some type of teaching experience right off the bat. So what you're going to do here is you're going to put the name of the organization. This could be the school, whether it's undergrad or K through 12. Under that, you're going to put your title and position. So if you were a TA, you're going to put teacher assistant. On the right hand side, you're going to put the city, state, basically the location. And then right under that, you're going to put the month and year and really the time frame that you completed the work. Then you're going to write 3 to 5 bullet points describing your teaching experience. Make sure that you write quantifiable numbers so you can showcase the impact of your work. So for example, you want to include how many students were part of your class. Was this 30 students? Was this 5? Was this small group? Was this large group? And what did you actually teach? Did you teach English language arts? Did you teach sciences? Did you teach coding? And then you want to describe a little bit about how you constructed your lesson plans. What type of interactive, engaging content did you teach? Stuff like that. So you want to be very detailed in your teaching experience. The last couple of sections are going to be more about your professional experience. So for this example, you see here that we wrote professional experience as the header. But if you have multiple experiences, I encourage you to be more specific about your heading. So if I was writing about higher education experience, I would change this heading to higher education experiences. If you are in computer science, for example, maybe you can write coding specific experiences. And then that tells the committee what type of experiences they should expect to read more about. And so similar to some of the sections above, you're gonna write the name of the organization in bold. Under that, you're gonna include the title / position that you embarked on. On the right hand side, you're gonna include the city, state, country, the location of that organization. Right below that, either in the month / year, or if you've done this for a number of years, you're gonna just put years. You're gonna put the time frame that you completed the work. Again, you're gonna put 3 to 5 bullet points that fully describe what type of work you did. Make sure you include things like how many people were involved, how many students you impacted, how many people you impacted, what type of work you did. Include the process of creating and implementing different things. Include what type of projects you completed. Don't just write the end result or the award you want. That's important, but mention that towards the end. Maybe one of the last bullets you include. The committee is interested in learning about the process of you creating these different things that you did in this project. Organize each and every one of your professional experiences in this way. Finally, the last section in your CV should be your honors and awards. And again, in bullet points, you want to describe your honors and awards. So the structure is name of honor / award. If you got money, if this was a scholarship, for example, in parentheses, write the total amount for that award. On the far right, you're going to put the year that you got the award. And do this in bullet points for all of your honors and awards. So you might have noticed here that I did not include a skills section. And that's very intentional of why I don't include that. In my personal opinion, a skills section doesn't really add anything to your CV. What you want to do instead is you want to embed those skills when you're describing your experiences. So in those bullets, when you're describing your experiences, in there, as a reader, I should be able to know what type of skills you have. So if you have coding skills, make sure that you are describing your coding skills and your experiences and how you utilize those skills to create impact, to create projects, etc. A list of skills such as coding doesn't really tell me anything about you as a reader. You know, anybody can say that they have coding experience. As a reader, I want to know, how did you utilize that coding experience to really showcase that you actually know how to code? So make sure that you don't include a skills experience section. Instead, you embed those skills into describing your other experiences. As you may also notice, I don't have a section that is like a summary or anything like that. Again, that to me doesn't add anything to your CV. You can include a summary or who you are, or I can't remember exactly what they call it, but you can include that in your statement of purpose. You have other elements of your application that the committee is going to look at, and so don't waste time and space in your CV for things that are not necessary. So make sure your CV is easy to read. So if I was scanning your CV, you want to make sure that I'm able to kind of learn about your journey as a professional, as a student, as a scholar. And so make it short, simple, and to the point. Typically for CVs, you want to have, I would say, anywhere from 2 to 5 pages or longer if you have more experiences, if you're more experienced. I always recommend that people write out all their experiences, especially if they're applying to competitive programs in the Ivy League, because you want to showcase your full self. Make sure every element in your CV is relevant to what degree you're applying to. And if you're switching careers, try to make the bullet points relevant or showcase your transferable skills from your current roles into your future goals. Alright scholars, I hope this video helped you learn how to craft a competitive CV for graduate school admissions. As a reminder, I'm selling this exact template on my Shopify storefront, which is linked down below in the description. So go get that, return back to this video in order for you to be able to craft a competitive CV for graduate school admissions. If you are looking for more content like this or want to see more CV videos that I have created, click on this playlist over here so you can see other videos that I've created to help you create a competitive CV for graduate school admissions. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video.